Okay. This is my first time. Okay. So this is my first time trying out the live on the mobile app. So that's much better. At least you can see me. I might take my glasses on and off. I don't know how I feel. But okay. This is going never done this live, but I still equate this to like me doing this from like my laptop, from what I'm used to doing. So I'm gonna still try to get this rant. It's gonna be like how I used to do my videos, where I was just holding my phone and ranting. So probably just like bring it back to the old days. So that's good. So I get to try out this. But anyway, on to what we was ranting about. All right, now on my other channel, the Oskino Films channel, and we did a whole after party on the 50-50 versus traditional man guy. And if y'all want to know my thoughts on it, to keep it short, I felt like it made the 50-50 man look really bad because he kept being emotional throughout that whole video. And I feel like, as someone that thinks 50-50 is probably the most logical thing you could do if you're making under 100K, I feel like that's, you could have explained your benefits better than, you could have explained yourself better than the way he was. Because the whole time, even though the man he was talking to, the traditional man, is a rich man and he's living a life of abundance, and he doesn't have to, I guess he doesn't have to struggle like he used to. He's more of a traditional man, and the way, so it's like a big bro looking at little bro. Now, I have a problem with that video because, one, the 50-50 man looked very, I don't want to say effeminate, but he just kept being sassy when the traditional guy kept giving him jewels. Now, don't get me wrong. If I had a choice, I would obviously be the traditional one. But I feel like, as far as, the way the economy is right now, the way that everything is going to inflation, the way inflation is right now, the way that most households, you need a two-person, you basically need two full-time jobs just to sustain a house, to even get by, right? So 50-50 makes logical sense. Now, in that, I've already talked about much of the video. Go watch the video. If you're not, I will leave it in the description box. What I'm talking about in regards to that video is, I've seen the reactions of other people and how they feel about 50-50. And it's mostly the women. And I hear this all the fucking time with the women and the guy. And it's mostly this one point where it's just because the guy was like, you working 8 hours and your girl's working 16 hours. She's taking care of the kids and, cooking and cleaning, and you're just working 8, and you got her slaving for 16 hours. Now, the thing is, he told him, my wife does, he said, I don't know if that was his wife or his girl, but he was just like, she does that on her own avail. She does not do that because I make her. She do that because she wants to. And it's not like I force her to. She doesn't have to do it if she don't want to. Now, he did put that point across, but the way he came across is so emotional, and it felt like a lot of people. Now, what I notice is, when people explain it, especially when it comes to women and the 50-50 thing, is that a lot of women feel like they're doing the most, that it's not really 50-50, and they're doing the most brunt work, and especially the emotional labor. And for that, I call bullshit. I'm going to be honest with you. And it's just I understand that, sometimes in relationships, some people carry more than, is like Michelle Obama said in that one video, is it's never really 50-50. Sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes it's 80-20. Sometimes I'm doing the most brunt work. Sometimes he's doing the most brunt work. And sometimes it's like that. Then you get the other side. It's it's never 50-50. It's 100-100. You both go in and you both You both working things. If she's slacking, then you pick up the slack. If he's slacking, then you pick up the slack. Now, a lot of people feel, a lot of women feel like if they're going 50-50 on a man, that they're just going to be doing the brunt work. And my opinion is, like I said, if you're 50-50, there is no such thing as traditional. So, and the one thing I feel like if you're going to, let's just say if you're going 50-50 and you find yourself doing most of the brunt work, did you really talk to your dude? And did you put that communication across your man before y'all even got to the point where y'all was in a relationship? Because I feel like a lot of that you're fearing of, you can discuss that before you even get into the relationship. And your man says, baby, I want this relationship to go 50-50. You as a woman say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then y'all supposed to sit this down and chat this up before y'all even get into a relationship, in which you could say, I'm not doing all the kitchen work. All right, if I'm tired, I'm going to sleep. If you're going to cook, you're going to help me clean. If I need some dishes done, then if I'm tired, then you're going to be picking up the slack. If you're tired, then I pick up the slack. But, one thing we're going to make sure is not, each person's not going to get overloaded with work. If you're going to help me take care of the kids, if we're going 50-50, then you're going to help me take care of the kids as well. And then if I need you, you're going to something to show them around. Now, you see that right there? That's communication, and that's like putting things down right before you get in. And in my opinion, and I've said this anyway, you're probably doing this anyway. I don't understand this thing that women have that like they're doing most of the brunt work. Most of you guys, sometimes you're not. All right, is that first of all, like, if anything's getting too emotional, that's on your part. Like the emotional part of the emotional part of the relationship is mostly on females, because most men don't give a fuck about little shit. Because if it's an argument about little shit, that's usually the female that's bringing it up. So that's your emotional brunt that's bringing it up. I don't mean to sound sexist, but like, I feel like that emotional thing, it doesn't really come from men. Even though I do think men can be emotional, don't get me wrong. But, we're not the ones always throwing the fit also. Sometimes we look at stuff and we just don't care. It's like, you ever just talk to a man and you talk about their feelings, and sometimes niggas are like, I don't give a fuck. Some men are like that. Like, don't get me wrong. We probably got some inner things that probably never worked out. There's probably things you probably learned from being in a relationship. Like, he never really had to cook, and you probably got to teach that man how to cook. He probably never really had to clean after himself if he was raised by his mom, and his mom never really always cleaned up the shit. Now, other people's just like, I'm not your mama. Something like you don't get this thing. It's like they want mothers. They don't want slaves. Now, here's the thing. If you are planning to have a child with this man, your motherly instincts, like not even for him, it's like your motherly instincts, nor is your wifely duties, is you're probably going to be able to do them. Like, he's going to do man things, and most of the times, and I know this is with kids, but they are most likely with their mothers because the mothers are more nurturing. It's just that is just natural. It's just not, like, your mothers are mostly nurturers. The fathers, and it's not saying the fathers don't sit there and do nothing. The fathers usually the ones that teach their sons, especially their sons, about the reality of things, of what's going on in the world, if they live with their fathers. Well, most of the times, like, if, let's just say, women, if you're with a man that never cooked or cleaned for himself and he lives with a single mom, how come the mom never taught him how to cook for himself? I've been cooking for myself since 13. Whether it started with it started with noodles and hot dogs, and then you eventually graduate to steak and cheese and burgers, to now you're making full course meals to where like you can make at least chicken and mac and cheese, and like you can like at least make. You could cook an assortment of meats without ruining in it. You can make cook assortment of vegetables. Like most of y'all don't even have a cookbook. Most of y'all don't even have a go-to meal. Like me, like most of y'all cannot even make spaghetti. Like I can make spaghetti. I can make chicken Alfredo. I've made that. I've made chicken Alfredo. I've made you know, I've cooked damn near every assortment of meat there is, pork and all that other stuff. I've I tried to learn how to cook collard greens one time. Maybe one time I'll get better at that. But there's things I still like want to get better at. But I can cook assortment of things to where I can make myself live. Like I can prep my own food. As you see, I prep my own food. Also, it's just like a lot of these women is just like, I work too. And it's like, your work is probably different from most women. Because most women, when they work, they're not doing, most of the times, unless you're like a Latin woman that is like a maid, most of you women, y'all don't do them hard manual labor jobs like construction or stuff that is just like 95% male, that is 95% males. Like most men, when they do jobs and they do have jobs, it usually requires physical labor. Them niggas and them 8 hours, they're probably lifting things, they're probably pushing things, they're probably pulling things. Like I know this, like not everybody's having these cushy ass call center work jobs or these pushy jobs and all that other stuff. Me, like I've had to be a janitor. I've been in the Navy. I've had to carry things that is way over 100 pounds. Way over 100 pounds. All right. There's times where I've got, at the end of the day, I'm dead beat tired. And I've still cooked for myself. But I'm dead tired. And I just don't want to do nothing but sleep. And then that's, those are the days of like that. And you women, I'm sorry, you have like a call center job. I can understand how mentally draining that is, but physically, nah, y'all fine. Physically, y'all fine. And it's just like, if your man, I remember this whole thing where this man was actually taking care of his girl, and he worked a 12-hour shift, and all he wanted was a home-cooked meal. And a woman that he was taking care of, that she didn't have a job, and he was taking care of, did not even prepare a home cooked meal. She was eating leftover pizza while this nigga just went, and he was like, "Damn, baby, I can't even get nothing to eat. I done worked a 12-hour shift. You haven't worked in a year and all that other stuff." So even then, like, let's just say, like, even in traditional values, it's like some of y'all women don't even do the job y'all do in the traditional way. A lot of y'all don't. It's like, especially in this generation, some of y'all can't even cook. Some of y'all barely know how to clean for yourself. Some of y'all barely can cook for yourself. So the fact of the matter that y'all complain about not wanting to cook, which is most likely the basic necessity of your life, you should learn how to cook. It's disappointing. And I feel like that's why a lot of y'all get complaints about that shit. It's like, nigga ask you, can you cook? And y'all have an attitude. It's just say you can't cook. Some of y'all, and I'm gonna be for real. I'm saying this as a person. I feel like I can cook better than most women I meet. I'm not even a sous chef, not even like a regular chef. Like I'm not even like no big body chef or some shit like that. It's just a nigga that just experienced in the kitchen. Like as you can see, I'm a fat boy. Look at it. I'm a nigga that's just been experienced in the kitchen. Some of y'all cannot cook. Now, don't get me wrong, I met some women that are phenomenal cookers, but some of y'all cannot cook. I remember like some girl telling me she like burnt spaghetti or some shit like that. It was like, how the fuck you burn spaghetti? That means you wasn't even watching the pot. You know how hard it is to burn spaghetti? And this woman did it. So I feel like a lot of that, to me, is just like the complaints that I've seen the women have is talking about, it's like I'm going to be doing most of the work, or it's like while he just sit there. It's like, it's bullshit. It's like, to me, it's bullshit because out of you done chose a nigga that you allowed to me, you allowed that him not doing nothing in a 50-50 relationship. And B, it's just like, obviously the nigga don't know how to cook. So why, instead of, okay, we're gonna make this work, you should be maybe making him cook. And some of y'all don't even like. Some of y'all don't like to do it. Material, shout out to Material Life. That's my homegirl, but she even tells herself, I don't like to teach niggas. And some people you got to teach. And I know this is the last one. I think this is another reason because traditional man is usually someone that has something for himself is already established. And it's just like a lot of people feel like, especially if you're like past 35 and some shit like that, a lot of women say that I don't want to like do a building nigga or build, or I don't have time to take care of them grown ass man and all that stuff, or building and some shit like that. If you're taking care of the house, you're taking care of everybody. But also, if that man is taking care of the bills and most of the majority of the bills and all that other stuff, is just like the most you could do. And this is from a traditional guy. If a man is taking care of all of that, the least you could do is cook for him. If he's doing all that, least you could do is cook for him. And some of y'all don't even like doing that. But as far as a 50-50 thing, it's just that damn. I hope I'm not repeating myself. Because I'm going to say y'all should at least teach that man how to cook. Yeah, I don't think I'm repeating myself. Yeah, teach that man how to cook. Teach that man, okay, I need you to do these chores. If I'm going over this, I'm going to need you to do this. Like, there are things that men do that women don't do. Like, women don't take out the trash. Men take out the trash. Women don't really mow the lawn like that. Men mow the lawn if you're living in a house and not an apartment. But most of the time, it's just if you need something fixed, that's the man's job. Yeah, unless he's going to call somebody. But there is jobs that men do that women don't have to touch. And you don't hear us complaining because we know that that's what we need to do. That's what needs to be done. If something wrong with the car, the men has to be like, okay, we got to figure it out. All right. And also, this is what it is. You are always building. Even if the man has it together, even if the man can support you and you don't have to work, you still have to build a relationship. If you're in a new relationship, you're building. So you cannot get past the building part. And then, like, even when you women are proverbially, and y'all say, wait on as Byron from First and Fifth say, you women wait at the finish line for an already established man. In that relationship, you still got to build. You still got to know what he likes, what he don't like, what he's allergic to, his favorite food. If he's sad, what did you like to do to make him happy and all that other stuff. Things like that. You're still building, you're establishing a relationship with your significant other. Like, even in a 50-50 relationship, and I feel like in that relationship, I know a lot of women, could say, oh, in your true femininity. And most dudes, they'll work 16 hours and the men don't do. But if he's working 16 hours, and one girl said this in that video, in one of the videos I watched, she was just like, if he's working 16 hours, that means he won't have no time for me. He's just going to be tired. And it's just like, what's the point of getting into a relationship? Because a lot of people's like, you shouldn't get into a relationship. And I do agree with this. You shouldn't get into a relationship with anybody if he doesn't have no type of drive and ambition. I don't feel like 50-50 people, and, I don't feel like people who are doing 50-50 have no drive and ambition. I feel like people with 50-50 is just like, okay, I'm here right now, but later on I can get to, because a lot of people feel like people with 50-50, they're just complacent. And I don't think that's a fact. I just feel like the way the economy is, it's just like where I'm at right now, where the person at right now, if he's making $15 an hour, is like, okay, this is all I could do for right now. But for right now, and people don't understand this because I think women are very impatient. I always say this, you're just like, depending on what you do or how you are, women has a deadline. And if you let's say you quit your job, you got about 2 months to find another job before she fucking leaves you. Let's just say that. If you like want to do 50-50, it's like your deadline is short. It's just like you miss a payment. You miss a payment. That countdown is coming down because women, they will leave you for that shit. Um, Also, it's just like, like men, we're more forgiving and lenient. Like if it's not big and like you're not cheating on them, it's like they're not gonna leave you over no little shit like that. It's just like if you lose your job, he'd be like, all right, you know what, baby. All right, I'll just get another job until you get back, until you get a job. And even then, like, okay, and I'm a perfect example for this. Even though I'm not in a relationship, um, I went from having no job to having a job that that paid like 15 an hour, to now going to my job right now to where I make at least 22 an hour. That's an improvement. All right. I didn't stay in one spot. And even then, like, because men, like, most men don't reach their financial peak till about 35, late 40s anyway. Our money grows slow. So let's say if he's in a company to where, like, they hire from within and, can build up, he could be working at $15 an hour job right there. But depending on what job he's at, he go from 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 20 to 30. And it's just like, let's just say in 3 years, all of a sudden now he's making $30 an hour. Like he just came from 15 to 30. And now he could be able to make enough money to where he's at. You know what, baby? You don't have to work no more. I got you. Like, and once he get to the area where he's just like, I got us both, then, y'all could live that traditional life. That's another thing I said about the 50-50. It's not, like, 50-50 is not a permanent solution. It's just a temporary solution until you get to the traditional life. Because, like I said, I feel like in this economy, like, I think men do want to, like, be the breadwinner and take care of a woman, but the way things are now operating is just like sometimes it's not like that. It really isn't. Sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes you gotta, like, okay, you know what, I make this much, you make this much, I make 50K, you make 50K, we come together, we make 100K, and we just hold each other down until, like, I can, like, at least make enough money to where I can support both of us. Now, if she want to work, that, like I said, if she wants to work, that's fine. That's on her, But if you can make enough money, like this is men. If we make enough money to support both of us, we'll tell our women. And I've said this before. We'll tell our women, you ain't got to work no more. You can go ahead, just take care of the kids, take care of the house, and all the other stuff. I got everything else. Like if a woman make that much, she's like, no, she's going to look for someone that's her status or better because she feels like she's better than a man at that point. She feels like she's better than a man. Women are hypergamous by nature. Just can't help that. Overall, I don't think, overall, I think in this day and era, and I said this, it's just like, you can't really call yourself traditional. Like the whole traditional versus 50-50 thing to me is bullshit because we're not living in traditional times no more. Gone are the days where, like, you can work a factory, and I've said this many a fucking times. Gone are the days where you can work a factory job and support not only your family. If you had a fucking hidden family, you support them too. Gone are those days, all right? Now, you probably gonna have to need a two incomes for a whole family. So, like, why not logically? Like, so logically, if we're going by logically thinking, because I know, like, emotionally and all the other stuff, that's where people, like, talk about this whole thing. And then now it's just like, But logically, 50-50 works. And like I said, it's not a permanent solution, at least not to me. It is a temporary solution to get to, to where the point where you can be quote unquote traditional. But that's just me. Like, I want people to look at that again. It's just, and people get out their feelings and being selfish. So that's my rant. That's my rant. I'm 25 minutes in, and how do I shut? I guess it's that X button. Okay, all right. That is my rant. uh, let me know what you guys think. Till then, my name is Oskino Fly, and I'm out. Peace. I haven't done this in a minute.